Hello, this is Amy from iTradeAIMS.com, AIMS Stress-Free Trading. I am back, refreshed after a holiday, fantastic holiday. It was a lot of fun. And I want to start trading DAX on the M1 every morning, London Open, 2 hours max. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to stop myself at 2 o'clock, 2 hours into it. And actually, I'm going to stop myself if I hit my 2 hour target or 2, 3, 4 hours. That's it. If it happens, and it can happen in the first 15, 20 minutes, we're going to do that. So this is GER30. So that's the German 30. Obviously, they don't have the rights. This broker does not have the right to write it at DAX. So they're just using the German 30. As everyone knows, DAX 30 is the German index for the top 30 biggest companies that they have, and it's an index, so the chart is a composite of the 30 companies, and every company, it's the way it's calculated is different. We'll go into it some other time. Anyway, so if you were starting at the Frankfurt Open, it would be shown as 9 o'clock. This is a Pepperstone broker, so this is where it would be. Now if you were starting at 7 and you were looking at the chart a little bit earlier, you would have seen a situation like this. So let me just scroll it there. And so a few minutes before the open, you would have seen this. Now, these people keep changing it. Sometimes I get the 24-hour feed. The other times I get only the 8-hour stream. So this one is not stream, sorry, feed. So at this point, we have the 24 hours one. Otherwise, it would have started around here. So as we can see, this is where the spread would have been higher. But anyway, if you look at it, this is setup one. And setup one usually starts with an apple. So these dots here are my fruit signal set up to only show the apple. Now the apple signal, if you want to know, is in your, check out your dashboard or the forum, you would see a specific section dedicated to it. And there's a particular indicator for it as well, but you can also set it up in the fruit indicator. So apple are the fruit signals that happen between the alligator and the purple. That's where the filter is. More on this later. Right, so you look for the wave 3. It's here, comes back, crosses the 0 line, so that's your 4. Now you're ready for a setup 1. But before the setup 1 happens, you have an apple signal. This is a perfect apple signal. You have at least one green bar against the red bar. And then you would set your PO here, stop loss there. But that didn't happen, so you got a better option, a discounted one. So you'll put your pending order here, a pip below. So you only needed about 3 points, or let's say 3.5 points risk. It got in, you will have your add-on signal here, and your stop loss will still be there. And a few minutes later, it just went down, created this, what we call the doorway to heaven. This is a Scooby setup as well. More on this later. You can search in your dashboard or in the forum, what is a Scooby? Doesn't really matter. So you were in here, half your risk, in here, another half, and probably added one more here with stop loss above this box around here. And then at Frankfurt Open, it just went down. And if you were trailing the box, you would be stopped out here for a handsome 25 points at the risk of 3.5. Now remember that. 25 is your profit. 3.5 was your cost. That is a staggering 7 times return on your investment, however small it was. Let's say you had a 1% or a 2% risk. So if you had a 1% risk on this, what did you do? You just 7 times it. So if your risk was 100, you made $700 and $10 more. This is amazing strategy. And if you had split it, which is a better opportunity, a better way of doing it. So I'll go for, let's say, half a risk here and 1% here. That's how I do it. So for the apple, I would do half a risk. And then for the box, I'll do 1%. So that's my maximum 1.5%. And then another half would be here. And so if you were in it before the Frankfurt Open, I think you were done in, let's say, about 30 minutes. That's it, you're done. If you did not exit on the box. Then when it tried to break this box and was rejected and went up and enclosed here, you would definitely have exited, or at least you would exit this add-on here and this one here and leave this one on, and then on the box you would be out here. Now it's only in pips wise or points wise, it's just a few points, but it doesn't, we're not in it for the points per se. We're in it for the R's, the multiples, the risk per se. So we want to risk one R, one unit, and gain multiple units here. That's what we're after. So when you're trading a higher time frame, let's say an hourly chart, your risk here would be 40 or 50 pips, but then you would make 250 and 300 pips. But in the grand scheme of things, and this is what you need to understand, we're after profit. We're not after pips. So there are people out there who are fooling you with pips. Oh, we made that many pips, that many thousands of pips. But you ask them what time frame. So if they made 10,000 pips in a year, and that was a daily time frame, they probably didn't make enough percentage growth. So if we go in and say, oh, this year we made 500 pips, they'll be like, what, 500? But that 500 usually would have 6 to 7, a 1% risk on 6 to 7 pips. Now, if you calculate that, 500 pips is huge. So I feel like just ending this video here. That's all I would like to talk about. But let's just quickly go, and let's suppose you started at London Open. So when you started London Open, there was no setup. But soon after, you created this wave 3, and there's your first green dot here. Now you're ready for your setup 1. Now here we have an Apple signal. But remember this. This is a rule that you can write down. Whenever you want to take an apple, you want that apple to be the highest point in that wave 4. So if the wave 3 is down, wave 4 is up, then your apple should be the highest point of your wave 4. So this was not the best. It was close to the gator. It was inside the box. We don't want that. So when apple appears, it's usually at the peak and there's no box. This should create a box. Now it did create a box, but it was already in this box. So this is not the one that we want. This, however, now if you can see, is the highest spot. So you would go for it. Right? Although it's still within this range, but it's still like, let me draw this box. If you look at it, this is the wave 4 sideways action. So this is a sideways wave 4. And this is a fake out. So you have price trying to break to the upside, but getting rejected. Immediately you go in with your half a risk, and then you set up your 1% risk here. See what happens. Well, what happened is that it did not break. So you had a very small 0.5% risk, and you traded it. You did not commit full 1.5% of your risk because it never triggered, but this was an excellent setup 1, which started with Apple. If you don't trade Apple yet, you would have your pending order here on this red dot, sleeping gator, purple correct, wave correct. That's it. That will be your 1% risk here. Price went up, black dot, even up there, you cancel it. Or if you were in here, you had a small loss, and that's it. You're done. You're waiting for the next setup, which did not happen. I hope you like it. I love this. This is the process. This is the process. I think in the next video, if I find a good hunt signal, I'm going to talk about that as well. So, see you later.